we are going to talk about the eclipse prediction in the Dresden Codex of Mayas, a new approach from the Monumental Antikythera Mechanism. This I want to give thanks to Efrosini Arkoulakis for the invitation to present this in this festival dedicated to the teacher of Pythagoras. Let me begin with the mention that we in Hermosillo, Sonora, are working in a monumental antiquity mechanism for Hermosillo. The University of Sonora, Julio Saucedo and myself, Relojes Olvera III Gereración con Alfredo Carmona y Jesús Clemente Olvera Trejo, y la Nacional y Kapodistriana Universidad de Atenas, the National and Kapodistrian University of Athens, or Xenophon Musas, all with the support of the government of Sonora, and as a project manager, Ezequiel Rodríguez Jauregui from UNISON. This is an effort in order to elaborate a monumental clock that begins with the production of the fabrication by Relojes Olvera III Gereración of a working model in a one-to-one scale of the known Antikythera mechanism. In this monumental Antikythera mechanism we are building, it is going to be installed in the University of Sonora, and in addition to the sun and moon motion, it will have the 5 planets known in antiquity. It shows the spirals of the cycles of the moon and eclipses of prediction. And when the team compared the cycle between the Table of Eclipses of the Dresden Codex, that is a pre-Hispanic Maya document, found a very special feature of the latter. It gave us the names, the dates for 69 solar eclipses in a period of 1168 days. In this presentation, I will show how to construct the whole cycle using the Maya numbers introductory in the section of the table. Let me begin with a small presentation of the work we are doing in a model that is in a scale 10:1 of the Antikythera mechanism. Here are 2 slides that present the structure that is constructing. You know, it is going to be 3 meters height and have several the same characteristics of the model 1-to-1. All the years are produced in an order to reproduce the motion of the planets as they can be seen from the Earth in an orbit with its retrograde motion around the circle of the Earth. In this case, we have to recognize that this model, the 1-to-1 model, was elaborated with a most strict design, trying to get the similarity of the known parts on the mechanism, and also with characteristics that shows that the mechanism has several special points to be covered. For example, it has no any screw is present in the model. All is armed as it is shown in the video. That in this case is the system of the Antikythera This is the mechanism is built. This is the case of the Saturn gears that give the motion of the orbits, including, as you will see in the video, the motion of the retrograde orbits in this case. For example, as you have been seeing, there is any gear, any screw used, all is assembled in a way that it is similar that it could be have done in the past at the time of the elaboration of the model. In this case, you can see here how is the movement, and the pin shows the retrograde motion of of Saturn. This is the same case. The MA1, as we call this model, was manufactured in Zacatlán, that is a city located in the state of Puebla in Mexico. In Mexico, with the working team that's headed by Ingeniero Alfredo Carmona, and guided by the director of the Relojes Olvera, Jesús Clemente Olvera Trejo. All with the support of the design group of the Professor Musa's ideas, the studies of the mechanism done by the people of the team of University of Sonora, and all this has been done in several almost 2 years by now, complete in this case. We presented in the 120th anniversary of the Antikythera mechanism, because it was discovered the characteristics of the mechanism comes from 902, and then in 2022 we presented the one-to-one model with the planetarium in an event that was a worldwide transmission using the communications in between Greece in the Las Carides Foundation Library at Piraeus, and the University of Sonora in Hermosillo in the Centro de las Artes. Then this was the first presentation of the team. As you can see here, this is the one-to-one model in this screen, and has as the model known by the people, it has the spiral that represents 19 years, that it is repeated 4 times in order to have the 76 years of the metonic cycle and the callippic cycle of the moon. And below, you can see the 18-year cycle of the eclipse, for the eclipse prediction, that are included in this model in the one-to-one, and it is going to be also in the 10-to-1 model that is building in Zacatlán. The importance of the Saros cycle that is included in this part of the mechanism. Here is a model of that is available for all the people. It's a model in one-to-one, but we have to discover that we studied this Saros cycle, and found that it has similarities with the one represented in the Mexican Maya Dresden Codex. The idea then became to in what extent we can show the Saros cycle of the Antikythera mechanism, and in an exhibition in Mexico would be joined together with a presentation of the Dresden Codex. Then the museography tells us that we can work together in this part. I'm showing here in this part of the picture how is represented the eclipse prediction in the Dresden Codex. I will return to this later, but let me say that it has similarities in the consideration of this. This is for 18-year cycle, and this is other for 11,960 days cycle, around 33 years around. The Dresden Codex is part of a small set of codices known from the Maya times. These codices are the more formerly Grolier, that is now known as the Códice Maya, del Pueblo Maya. And this codice has information about several things in special some data related with calendars. But the special also is the one is called the Códice Madrid, and has also information. And also they have the Codex Paris, that is the Códice Paris, that has also information on the solar cycle and the moon cycle. This information also in the Venus cycle. But maybe the most important in astronomical terms of the all four codices that has survived from the Hispanic destruction made when the conquest of Mexico, is the Dresden Codex. It has information not only on the eclipses, but also on other cycles like the Venus cycle and the Mars cycles, and other kind of calendaric information. Especially in this part of the introductory pages, the 51 and 52A, the introductory pages of the Dresden Codex, is information that is used to produce the following pages. All these pages from 53A to 58A, and from 51B to the 58B. All this information is the cycle of the solar eclipses. I will explain that in this case, in all these cases, as you can see, it is all that are numbers in the Maya language, in the Maya mathematical numeration, with dates, special dates that represents with the calendar of the Maya. I don't have time to explain too much, but only I have to say that in this case, for example, we have 148 and is added to 177, and this gives 354. This makes the connection in between this representation. Then the Dresden Codex has in these pages the numbers accumulated and see the red circle numbers as I show, and they are 354 days. This is the part I'm representing. Then all these numbers are accumulation of the number here with the second and to the top. And that's why the researchers of this codex, the known people of the codex, has deduced that the table of all the eclipses represented in this table are as follows. These are the number of days of the cycle between one eclipse and the following. This is 127, 177, and 148. This is for the first. Then there is another cycle until 48. Let me show you that after the 148, there is a glyph, a hieroglyphic representation of some facts, of some ideas that have been represented. And this means that it is possible that after each 148 days, there would be an observed eclipse in the region of the Mayan people, mainly, for example, Chichen Itza. This is part of the, and this is following this table. Here, it's not very clear, but let me say that all this table is elaborated in order to compare the table of eclipses of the Dresden Codex that are in green and white, with the eclipses known to have happened in the epoch since 1785 year in the 18th century. It's a comparison only to know if this is working well. In this case, each one of these has the first month between the beginning of the cycle and the presence of the eclipse of the 148, as I mentioned. This is the way I represent this. And in this sequence, we can see that eclipse zero is the comparative analysis of all these cycles that gives us an index of coincidence comparing, and the best is the 11th one. That means that in the yellow row, we have a coincidence of, in this case, all these only by 1 or 2 days difference in between the observed eclipse and the predicted eclipse by the Dresden Codex. This is a very good approach and has very important result. Let me follow. Here we can have all the coincidences, as I mentioned, and the best is one that is I coded as the cycle of predicted eclipses of the Dresden Codex on 075 is the codex. Then taking into account this date, the 175 represents March 23 of the 787 year of this era. This means that it's in the 8th century. The corresponding Julian day is this one, 2,008,000, and maybe it can coincide with not too very good, but it may coincide with the eclipses seen in the region of Chichen Itza. Here the table is more clear, and you can see the importance of these results. That means that maybe if we can find the exact date when the table was shown, we will meet a one-to-one coincidence of all the 148 with blue ones that are eclipses observed really occurred. This will be the predicted by the table, and this will be that really occurred. There are several coincidences, as you can see in this case. Well, what is the object of this part? Excuse me. This means that this eclipse coincides exactly with a prediction and an eclipse observed in the region of Chichen Itza, and it has marked in order to know this place. Well, how can we make a summary of all the things that the Dresden Codex has in a sequence of eclipses? It's a sequence of 69 eclipses that were observed somewhere in the world, with 1155 days, and at least 10 eclipses of there have been observed in the Maya region. It covers a period of nearly 33 years. And in the part of the table, in the page 52A, the numbers are shown that could facilitate the elaboration of the sequence of intervals. These numbers are in 4 columns, and the columns intercede the numbers. Here are the zone, and in this case, we can, excuse me. Here we have Chichen Itza, located in the north of the Yucatan Peninsula, and is the region of interest for this time. Several studies makes known that maybe the observation point of the table of eclipses could be a little more to the south in the Quintana Roo, but these studies has to be checked, and it is necessary to compare with the effective observed eclipses in this region. Then, if we compare that in the solar eclipses that appear in the Saros cycle of the Antikythera mechanism, there are 13 solar eclipses, and each of them has a date and an hour of observation, and it's observed in the region of design that could be in the Rhodas or maybe some island in Greece nearby. The eclipses are several. They have 7 in distance, and it's a period of 6,585 days, and covers a period of 54 years, because the spiral has to have 4 cycles and repeats 3 times, for a total of 19,775 days in total. This is the comparison in the Antikythera mechanism. There are the prediction of solar eclipses are represented with this letter, that is Helios, for Helios, and this is represented in the mechanism properly, as in the engravings that can be seen here in this part. In this case, it's Selene and Helios, 2 eclipses for the similar date but different hour, because they are not considered is a difference of 1 month. Then we can say that in comparison, we have 69 in total, the solar eclipses, and we have 11 solar eclipses with 13 approaches. 10 eclipses are identified by vignettes or glyphs that correspond to observable eclipses, and the lunar months are 5 days and covered in 3 times. In the cycle is 11,900 average of the Mayan cycle, and in the Excellimus cycle is the 76 years, has its own specific dial. The date of observation is given, and the hour observation in the case of the solar cycle, but not in the case of the Mayan table of eclipses. There is no mention about the time of the occurrence of the eclipse. These eclipses of the Mayan cycle are grouped in eclipses connecting sequences of 7 consecutive eclipses that can be said that are total, annular, or a partial type. In the observation made in the Saros cycle points to be an observation to the Syracuse, or as I mentioned, to the Rhodas Island. What are the recent discoveries that we come with this work? We have recovered that the given some important results are that the pre-astronomers of the Maya could have been using his mathematical using fractions. This means that there are numbers in the page 62A. These numbers here are intercalated black and red, and that they could be fractions of representations of numbers, and then from this, with the help of these 13 13s in red color, this 13, 13, 13, there are 13 numbers 13. And this represents the fundamental cycle of 169 days that with additional fractions covered here gives the representation of the table. And that's the contribution we consider to have been made by our group in this study. And we are proud to to inform you in this conference, in this beautiful place. I couldn't have been there in Saros because of the bad weather when we were transporting to there. But we will be pleasure of having been there to explain indirectly and answer the question as it is were possible. This means that these are the numbers needed for the accumulated part of the year, and this is the way the table can be. Then from this table, we can see that going to 13 by 13 with the increment and as mentioned by the ratios of the fraction of the numbers here, these fractions are needed for the eclipse observation lunations. But using the Dresden Codex fractions, we have used 0.6, 0.667, and 0.288. And in this case, this is that this goes here and we reproduce the sequence of the all 69 eclipses total of the table. And this is the Dresden Codex simulation, and total for 11,958 days. This is the part where all this can be summarized. Well, this information is in this page, that is the page 53A of the Dresden Codex, and these are the numbers, Maya numbers, that make these pairs of numbers in red and black, make the fractions elaborated this table and its reproduction. Let me comment finally that we have a very important astronomical knowledge from the Maya people since many years ago, and that we have been recorded of these eclipses in the Maya Codex. In the next following days, months, we are going to have in the 4th of August of 1920, excuse me, it's April 8, 23, is missing 24, is missing the, we will invite you to come to Mexico in order to see the eclipse that is going to be total in all these regions of the Mexican Republic. We are heading in Hermosillo, Sonora. We are not too far, and you can visit thoroughly the Monumental Antikythera Mechanism that is going to be put in the University of Sonora in the central campus of the university. You be very welcome to come to here. I appreciate your attention, and I give a special thanks to Ms. Frosini Arkoulakis and Professor Xenophon Musas, not only for the invitation, but for all the help has been having around this beautiful country that is Greece. I regret too much the impossibility for myself to be in the festival at Saros, but I went to Samos in a beautiful experience also there, and I appreciate too much. The organizing committee of the Festival of Saros for his invitation and support. Thank you very much all.